you got the garden right. You set the tempo in January. Got to give you props for that. But man, oh well, okay. So the last time New York pulled up to Cleveland, Ohio, New
Yeah,
York showed out. Are you gonna
yeah,
show out against Rene Palacios Galvan, 4th of July? How do you see this fight going?
bro. To the Shu Shu show always shows out, man. That's just something that I don't feel like I have to try to do. I think my style is just naturally entertaining, but I will definitely have a dominant victory. I plan on just showing the difference in levels and just continue to be victorious. And then after this, I really want to unify. I don't really want to waste any more time. To be honest, just really want to be able to get this title defense, done. I'm not looking past my opponent whatsoever. I'm really focused and super focused on this fighter, but I have big dreams and I have big goals, and I really want to become the first undisputed featherweight world champ. And yeah, this guy is just in the way of that.
Definitely want to touch on the unification talk, but starting with Rene Palacios, man, the 10th ranked fighter by the WBC.
Mhm.
There's going to be people in the boxing world saying, why not the fifth guy or the fourth
Mhm.
guy, or the sixth or the seventh, all the way at number 10? What do you say to that, Bruce? Why is it the 10th ranked guy for your first title defense?
It's funny because it's like I even talked to Carl Moretti, about me fighting the guys in those upper ranks, and then it's weird because you would think that being that now I have a title, it'll be easier for me to make certain fights. I'm still getting denied. So I'm just like, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? So I'm really happy that Palacios he accepted, the fight, and so we're here. You know what I'm saying? But it is what it is. If these guys that are denying it, now they'll be clawing at me in some time in the future just to get a shot. And we'll see how things will be when that time comes. Because my eyes are just on the titles at this moment, to be honest. You know what I'm saying? So it just is what it is. So I got this fight, and yeah, I just can't wait to fight, get the win, and then move on into bigger and better things.
No, you also kind of like, voiced your opinion on wanting to fight on the Boots Zayas card a week before in Brooklyn, right? But
Yeah.
who did Carl, who did he try to get, or who did you try to go through? Who did you try to get that you're saying push the fight away for this 4th of July date?
There was I think I believe Nathaniel Collins, his name was brought up, but I think he was already busy. Then there was this kid, forget his name. Shabazz Masood, I believe. Yeah, him. And yeah, so I was told that, they all just denied it. And I'm just like, okay. So now I just went down the list. It's something that's just not, there's something that I'm pretty familiar with at this point in the sport. It's kind of like I remember even when I fought Matthias Hayta, like I wanted to fight someone with a bigger name, and he was the only guy that was like, "Yeah, I'll take the fight." Like he jumped at it, and I'm just like, "All right, fine. Let's do it with him because he's the only dude I can't. I don't want to go any lower than him. So
Hmm.
let's do it." So it's kind of the same situation, man. But at some point, I know these guys are going to be clawing at me, so it's just getting to that point.
What do you think of Rene Palacios? He watching the Sagawa fight, the guy
Mhm.
you had a very tough fight with too, that
Yeah.
your detractors continue to bring up the the
Mhm.
the Sagawa performance, but lead hand low, southpaw kind of guy, but
Mhm.
despite being a lead hand low southpaw guy, likes to bruise on the inside,
Yeah.
Mexican fighter,
Yeah.
undefeated just with the draw. How do you size him up?
Man, yeah, no, he's a good fighter. I actually believe his win was better than my wins, in my opinion, against Sagawa. It was very, very good, very impressive the way he was able to just like lock in and outman Sagawa. Granted, Sagawa fought him differently than he fought me, but yeah, like all kudos and credits to him. And I think that fight was one of the main things that made me interested in fighting him because I'm just like, okay, like, very impressive. And so I think him fighting like that, him fighting with like basically, his heart in his sleeve, are the type of fights that I'm really attracted to. Even all of the champions, they all fight with the hearts in their sleeves. Figueroa, Leo, Espinoza, all those guys, like they're very, very interesting to watch. So when I watch Palacios, I'm like, yeah, like you give him if you give him the right opponents and he grows well and he can definitely, I can see him, being in title contention really soon. I mean, other than myself, with other guys and giving them problems, but I just feel like I have just too much in my bag to be able to like, lose this fight. And I'm just talking about this confidently, not trying to be cocky or anything like that. I just know what I have and what I've been working on and how I study. Like I'm a true student of the game and knowing how to break a person down. And yeah, he just has a lot of mistakes and habits that falls right into my strengths.
Well, yeah, that was very honest of you, to actually say you felt he was more decisive in his win than yours. But
Sure.
so to that point, um, in your climb through the rankings to get to being world champion, you always showed the flashes and in some performances full on, but in other performances some inconsistencies where you see the flash of the counterpunch and the speed, the
Mhm.
sharpness, and then other lulls. And then against Castro, you really put it all together and
Mhm.
had a sensational performance to knock him out
Yeah.
at the Garden. How do you now, as a champion, sustain and be consistent at that level? And also, is beating him really enough, or to really keep momentum going forward in your career, does it have to be another sensational kind of showing?
I think
Stoppage in all likelihood.
Yeah, yeah. I think it has to be another sensational kind of showing. And to be honest, I think the pressure that is on me is what makes me as sharp as you've seen me when I fought Carlos Castro throughout. I think, when you put certain fighters up against certain guys, like you just kind of just show up for those moments. Like I think about Terrence Crawford when he fought um, Madrimov or Mean Machine, like those in between big name, big fights. You know, um, he'll have like some subpar performances. He'll look okay, but then you put him up against the Sean Porters, the no the Errol Spence, the Canelos. He shows up. You
Hmm.
know what I'm saying? So I feel like in those moments, it's like, yeah, I think I'm pretty similar when it comes to that. Um,
Well, this would be one of those in-betweeners though,
I
where
mean, yeah, but
you know what I mean? Yeah.
yeah, that is true. But I kind of and I've actually like kind of thought about that for myself, and I'm just like, yeah, I don't want that for myself. I don't want that for me. Like I want to be able to be dominant just through and through. Like anybody and everybody that I fight, I want to just be dominant, no matter who it is, no matter if it's a big name, because sometimes these guys that are not big names are tougher than the big name fights.
Hmm.
Like to be honest, you know what I'm saying? So
Emmanuel Augustus Floyd.
exactly,
Right,
you know what I'm
right.
saying? So yeah, it's fights like that you got to really think about. It's like, yeah, like you got to really lock in for these fights, especially. So yeah, I'm super focused on Rene Palacios. He is a world title contender, and he's looking to take my title. And I don't see myself as a true champion just yet. I look at it as like I'm a true champion once I'm able to fully successfully defend my title. Once I do that, then I can see myself as a champ. I have the title, but I feel like true champions defend it pretty well. So I think that I really want to make a statement this night, and we're just gonna to continue to take it up another level.
Well, yeah. So now to the unification talk, man. There hasn't been a unification since 2003. Juan Manuel
Yeah,
Marquez and Smoke Gaynor, Derrick Smoke
yeah,
Gaynor. Shout out to
yeah,
Florida.
yeah, yeah.
So it's kind of
Um,
ridiculous, like what's gone on in this division for 23 years.
Yeah. But I think the main reason behind that was because like a lot of guys they wouldn't have spent too much time in the featherweight division. A lot of guys would move up because those other divisions that are heavier, they were just more lucrative and big fights would be made. So the featherweight division wouldn't get as much love. But right now, I think the featherweight division is like in a place that it hasn't been, I don't think ever, with the amount of talent and how hot it is right now. I think this is the perfect time for everybody to start like kind of getting it in. That's why I am just ready to do this fight and then go right into the unification and really start like really mixing it up with these guys because it's been too long. It's been way too long, since these champions have been getting it in with each other.
Well, because realistically, after 4th of July, you still have enough time to have one more fight in the year in
Definitely.
2026. Give me a name, Bruce. I know you'll say I'll fight any of the champions. You've been
Hmm.
saying that, but like
Yeah.
zero zero in on somebody because first Espinoza and Leo are rumored for unification. That
Hmm.
fizzled out in the headlines.
Hmm.
Then Espinoza and Figueroa is something
Hmm.
I heard in the business. Got a couple of headlines. We don't could still happen in September as rumored, could not. Angelo Leo, I spoke to him after his fight with Rais Salim got
Hmm.
canceled. He's on the fence. He says, I'll do a unification next, but another part of me actually now, because I haven't fought in over a year, you don't want to go right into a unification with a bout of inactivity like that
Hmm.
because I understand what he's saying, but so where does that leave? Where does that leave you, Bruce? Like, what's the target that can actually be met this year in your third fight of 2026 in a unification?
I think that the two fights that are very possible are the Leo and Figueroa fight. I think those two fights, but granted, like I know Leo, just expressed what you said. So if but if things can't change, if his mind can't be changed, then I'll just go to Figueroa route. To be honest, it's just simple as that. Like whoever is just ready to, get it on. Like I'm ready to get it on. But I think those two guys are the most uh likely to happen. And it seems like, the guys that's in the background, they're kind of playing it to have me and Espinoza meet at the end. So I can kind of see it happening. So, I think that's how it's going to go out.
Well, it's crazy that you would think Figueroa could be more doable when he's a PBC fighter and
Right.
Espinoza has the same promoter as you. You think
Yeah.
it's Top Rank that wants to save that for last, or like,
I think so. I think
okay.
so. I think they want both of their top ranked fighters to fight each other at the end and meet, not like,
So then why do you think PBC and Figueroa would come to the table for unification? Wouldn't they want their guy to get a defense in, after upset beating Nick Ball in the UK?
Figueroa doesn't care to.
Yeah.
Figueroa is ready to get in there now. I've talked to Figueroa personally.
At Garcia
In person.
Barrios, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. We talked, what I'm saying? So yeah, he's ready to get in there with whoever, whenever. And I love that mentality because I have the same type of mentality. So that's why I'm like really, headstrong on the Figueroa aspect of it. And we could easily make a fight, on a ring card. It doesn't have to be on a top rank, it doesn't have to be on a PBC. We could do it right on a ring card and make it happen. It's all about making these fights happen, man, getting the fans what they want.